This video is directed at a YouTube user by the name of Straight Dope. He makes videos about how other people on YouTube are just awful. Recently, I've come under fire from Straight Dope for my fundraising activities for my project, Not Productive.
He collected thousands of dollars from donors for free speech vids. The site ultimately failed, but that's not the important thing. Where the fuck did the money go? He registered the domain name for a year. He didn't even host the videos on his own server. Was all that money to compensate him for his time? Were the donors paying him a salary before he even produced anything? What was his wage for throwing together a site premised on free speech that actually ended up being highly controlled and basically exclusive to his buddies while hosting videos through other websites? It's a safe bet that most of the money really went here.
Okay, Straight Dope, when you say that Free Speech Vids never hosted its own video content, that's not really true. I went and found a YouTube clone script that I could implement, and I put it up on a website, and right before we were going to launch, we were hacked. We were hacked by the same hacker that had hacked my personal sites on a few occasions before that. We were hosting with GoDaddy. We asked GoDaddy, okay, we were hacked. This guy did a SQL injection. Is there anything you guys can do? And GoDaddy basically told us, no, it's your responsibility. So we're like, okay, we're not hacker prevention specialists. We're going to have to find a different web host. And the web host we found was called Firehost. And they're very good at preventing your websites from being attacked or from being vulnerable in any way, shape, or form to data leaks or SQL injections or anything like that. The problem with Firehost is that it was very expensive, and as soon as our site attracted any sort of viewership, the bandwidth went through the fucking roof. We had no ability to pay for it. And the worst thing was, everyone was like, well, why don't you just host with GoDaddy or some other site? You know, then it'll be cheap. It's like, we can't. We'll get fucking hacked again. Then we started thinking to ourselves, well, there's plenty of sites out there where you can post videos, and they're far less stringent than YouTube when it comes to censorship. We decided that we'll just let people embed videos from those websites, and we'll just be basically an aggregate. And that worked. For a long time, that worked. We were getting around 2,000 people a day, but there was a problem. The problem was that the content was lousy, and every day you could kind of see viewership declining, because people went there to upload their shitty videos, but no one was actually coming to watch videos. Nothing was getting watched on the site because pretty much everything there was terrible. So we realized we need an editorial process. We need to pre-select people based on not just, freedom of speech, but they also have to have some sort of entertainment value too. At this point, the site was on the right track, but there were a few problems. One, it wasn't really living up to the name Free Speech Vids anymore because all of the content was being filtered through me. Two, we were out of money from the 2 previous incarnations of the site which had failed, and no one wanted to help us raise more because we'd already failed on 2 previous incarnations. So even though we now had a model that I felt could be successful, no one was willing to invest in it anymore. 3, because our site was called Free Speech Vids, none of the advertising networks would take us on. They're all like, oh no, free speech, that's scary to us. I mean, it's pretty sad that in America, if you use the words free speech, you become advertising poison, but that's just the nature of the beast. So we couldn't successfully monetize the site, we couldn't raise funds for it, and it really didn't even fit the name Free Speech Vids anymore. So we shut Free Speech Vids down. And I even said at the time, Free Speech Vids will be back. It's gonna come back. And I had every intention of bringing Free Speech Vids back a few months later. But then life got in the way, all of these other things happened, I started shooting videos with Cody, I became very focused on the Amazing Atheist channel, and I never did bring Free Speech Vids back, but always in the back of my mind, I was still holding on to the idea. And I was still remembering how that last business model that we tried was really showing some forward momentum. I decided, we have to bring this back, and the first thing we have to do is come up with a different name because free speech vids no longer applies and it scares away advertisers. So the name we came up with was Not Productive, because I remember being told as a kid so often that when I was goofing around, when I was doing things to make my classmates laugh, my teachers would say, "TJ, that's not productive." And it's kind of inaccurate to say that free speech vids failed and now I want money for Not Productive. Because when free speech vids closed down, I had every intention of opening it back up a few months later under a new name, but with the same business model that I felt was going to be successful. The only problem is that I didn't open it a few months later. It's been the better part of 2 years, but it's still the same.
The second problem with this prospect is that YouTube already has this functionality built in. You see, if I like TJ's point of view, and I figure I'd like what he likes, I can take a look over here where he has his favorite channels featured. Or I can take a look over here and see what videos he's favorited. I can also look at the feed for all of my subscriptions and see what they've liked. This is what YouTube is set up for. You find people you like, and they expose you to people they like. TJ's service will be superfluous and unneeded.
Your argument might have been very compelling back in 2007, 2008. But it's not compelling in light of the reality of what's going on the internet right now. You ever heard of college humor, blistered thumbs, that guy with the glasses, revision 3? It's pretty obvious that people will go to third-party sites with an editorial process where the content is pre-selected for quality. The reality has already shown that people will do that. Now, if you don't think that I'm qualified to run a site like that, that's a whole other issue. But for you to say that the concept won't work, motherfucker, it's already working. If you don't believe that I and the people that I've assembled are capable of making a website like this work, that's fine. You don't have to support it financially, you don't have to support it emotionally or intellectually, or believe in it, or frequent it, or anything. You don't have to believe in my site at all. The only thing I'd ask is that you not lie about it, and you not tell me that I don't value what I'm doing, because I do. Alright, well that's all I have to say about that. And for those of you who do believe in the project, the donation link is down below as usual. And really, they're not even donations because you get something for them. I'm really selling things to raise money for the site. So even if you don't believe, maybe you just want one of the perks. So those are all down there. And of course, Eden's Cancer, good friend of mine, he just started a t-shirt company. He's offering a limited edition t-shirt. Here's the ad for that.
Get your limited edition Amazing Atheist t-shirt before the pre-orders sell out. We'll only be pressing a limited quantity and then discontinuing the shirt for good. A portion of the proceeds goes to Not Productive, and you'll also be helping Freeze Bomb, an independent art and apparel company, put in its first sales. First 50 orders also get a limited edition Amazing Atheist sticker. Click that link in the crotch bar and stop by.
And after this, no more of these bullshit personal videos. It's back to making videos about politics and religion and observations about life on the planet Earth. I'm the Amazing Atheist. Thank you for bearing with me. Peace the fuck out.
Hello, what do I have for you today? I have two parameters: beliefs that are good for you and beliefs that are bad for you, and beliefs that are true and beliefs that are false. Those two parameters will split into 4 quadrants.